there weren't any additional restrictions in the rules for the investment contest. In addition to normal trading, buying on margin and short selling were also allowed. There was no daily restriction on the number of transactions, only a 0.1% transaction fee on the value of the stocks traded. That's actually kind of cheap, I think. The only special rule is that the participant only had 40 days of trading once they started. On top of that, after those 40 days were up, they wouldn't just close up all the positions and calculate the totals. It was simply that no more transactions could take place after that point. So if you held on to stocks, the values would continue to change. I wonder if this is done out of concern for people who made more long-term trades, as opposed to people like me who went for many short-term trades in a single day. And then at the conclusion of the contest, the profit and loss would be calculated from the value of the stocks. In other words, if you were to carelessly hold on to random stocks, there would be little that could be done when they were to slump in value afterwards. On the other hand, even if after 40 days one was not able to reach the top in terms of profits, there was always the hope that any retained stocks would be promising and bear fruit, thus rising in value afterwards. From the information grabbed from the official website when it opened to the public, it was clear that, much like the actual stock exchange, the virtual one had its share of good days and bad days for trading. There were days that had overall downward trends, I think that's supposed to be downward, as well as those with overall upward trends. Observing how things were progressing at the start of the contest, it seemed like an easy-moving bull market. Looking on the net, most investors would time their start with when the markets were doing well overall, then go full throttle with trading for 40 days. Afterwards, they placed all their bets on a few stocks that they would go up and prayed that they did. However, my situation was a bit different. When I received an invitation, there were only 44 days left in the contest. I was probably one of the last to be invited, I imagine. I could see how it would have been a disadvantage, but it was actually an advantage since I could take in everything before making a move. Furthermore, unlike the real markets, it was hard to get a feel for the virtual markets in the early days of the contest. In their spare time, a bunch of kind contestants collected and published data about various aspects of the contest. Furthermore, there were contestants who chatted amongst themselves. From their conversations, it appeared that there were many long-term investors in the early days of the contest, and more short-term traders were called to the contest in the later half. That was a more extreme version of the latter, which may have been why I got called up at the last minute. Besides, for the most part, I didn't mind the feel of the market. When the whole market felt like it was down, I would look for stocks that had over-depreciated and pick them up at a discount. And either on that day or the next day when everyone had calmed down, I would sell. If the market was on an upward trend, I'd just ride the wave. There were many methods when it came to trading, but I traded using the simplest strategies. I've been doing ridiculously well just by employing that strategy. So this time around, I just had to keep going as I had been. Although I looked confident in my plans, I didn't feel like starting my trades right away. It doesn't look like it will work. I mumbled that to myself in front of my computer. Were I to begin trading, then my 40-day period would start, no ifs, ands, or buts. I'd have time to hesitate, but I really was hesitant and could bring myself to press the button to start trading. If this contest were exactly the same as the actual market, then proceeding as normal would probably produce the same results. I heard the contest was not conducted annually, but rather on an irregular schedule. I also heard that this contest is part of an experiment to see if the real market could be reproduced. Since the beginning of time, there has yet to be someone who could unlock the secrets to the market. Even the greatest investors out there of infallible logic and reasoning, even Mr. Infallible himself, could still, I don't quite get this reference, lose big. If this experiment were to succeed, it would be the equivalent of unlocking the secret to alchemy. Of course, investment banks and funds were a bit more realistic than that, and I think that they basically use this as a means to fish for talent. Even to an onlooker like me, it didn't look like the organizers were a monolithic entity. It appeared that the lunar government also had its hand in this, so perhaps there was some reason known only to the grown-ups that the contest was held irregularly. In other words, it wasn't clear whether or not there would be another time. If that were the case, then there would be another chance to win the top prize against Hagana for Schrödinger Street. Thinking about that, I couldn't move carelessly. Failure was not an option. That was why I was monitoring the actual market and the virtual market at the same time. What should I do at this late hour? I feel like using the computer while sitting properly at the desk, so I placed it on the floor and sat cross-legged in front of it. myself as I sat cross-legged, then placed my hands behind my head before looking up and falling backwards. If I had a different method... While I looked at the ceiling, I went over what I knew about the various methods of trading. There were three main techniques when it came to trading stocks. Given that owning stock was basically owning a piece of a corporation, one technique focused on the basic principle that sound corporations would rise in value while bad ones would drop. Looking over the minute financial details of a corporation's performance and examining the products they manufacture before investing was a fundamental way of trading. The second technique was to ignore such fundamentals and focus solely on the price fluctuation of a stock to gain maximum profits. This was a trading method that relied heavily on plotted graphs of stock price changes on charts, utilizing that movement to make a trade. Analyzing the previous charts of countless companies, one would predict whether a stock would likely rise or fall given the curves. This was called technical analysis. The third technique was based on the assumption that stock moves were essentially random and it was impossible to predict people's actions. There's apparently some statistical results stating that there wasn't much difference in performance between people sweating it out looking up companies' performances, staying up all night to analyze charts and choose stocks to trade, and monkeys throwing darts randomly. They asserted that the price fluctuations of stocks are random, and thus they were called random walkers. In my case, I focused on the good merits of all three techniques. I took news about a particular business into consideration and made predictions based on the stock's price fluctuations. But even then it was hard to say what would happen to the stock price. So in the end, I would rely on intuition before trading. At first it was amazingly efficient, and even I wondered if I wasn't some kind of genius. Certainly there have been times where, despite my confidence, I had purchased stocks that dropped in value, and thinking it was a bad situation, I relinquished them only to watch them skyrocket in value afterwards. Overall, I had done well, but even though I had faith in my overall methodology, losses started cropping up soon enough and my mind began to fill with doubt. Was what I was doing really the right way? Trying to take the good points of all three methods was meaningless, as it was really more about which one method of the three was the better choice. What bothered me and made me hesitant, in other words, was this. Thus, when I heard about Hagana's mathematical skills, I realized there was a possibility of a fourth method of trading. Using mathematics to make predictions of the future was commonplace in physics. For example, if you were to visit the service page of the orbital elevator, there's a prediction as to when and where the orbital elevator would collide with the garbage floating around Earth, the time delay it would have on service, and the danger levels that were displayed. Estimates by the space station took into account pieces of garbage larger than the tip of your thumb. If there was a possibility of anything large colliding with it would be destroyed with a laser or caused to fall back to Earth. Up until now, there had not been a major accident or error. It could be possible to perfectly predict the movement of tens of thousands of pieces of garbage, no larger than the size of your thumb, as it orbited the Earth at several kilometers per second. There would be no reason that such precise calculations could not also be used to predict the price fluctuations of stock. Those who believed that they were called quants, and there was apparently a smattering of them who held PhDs from Lenovo University. So this is supposed to be related to, like, quantitative stuff, that type of thing, rather than... well, I'm not entirely sure what all they mean, because there's a few different ways you can go with that. I'm just going with the quantitative side. If Hagana possessed that talent, it was able to mimic the trading methods of quants. As I thought about that, I realized that it was practically a pipe dream. Even if Hagana were able to understand all of that, it was an entirely different thing for her to agree to help me. At this point, I had just finished spending the morning combing websites for tricks on how to do well in the virtual markets. The clock had just about hit noon when I remembered Lisa's orders. I grumbled to myself in annoyance, but I realized I was running on empty at the same time, and obediently headed to the living room where I saw a wrapped-up sandwich sitting on the table. I should use the bathroom first. I poured the rest of the coffee from the coffee maker into my cup, tossed it in the microwave, and headed to the bathroom. 3 meals a day for 10 mules was rather cheap. Took a leak and washed my hands. I grumbled to myself as I headed back into the living room, and there I stopped completely in my tracks. Somehow at the same time, Hagana also came into the living room. We were both rather surprised by each other's appearance and looked away, pretending the other wasn't there. However, Hagana sat down at the table first while I just groaned. As expected, I wanted to be excused from sitting alone with Hagana while we quietly ate our sandwiches. For now, I took a deep detour over to the microwave and picked up a warm coffee cup. Hagana was quietly eating her sandwich nearby and didn't even bother to look up. I heard from Lisa that Hagana's overly pushy haggling at the clothing store yesterday was her way of thanking me. If that were the case, then it was possible I was being insensitive in what I said. But on top of not knowing about that, Hagana had kicked me squarely in the shin. Rather than being a favor to me, should Hagana apologize to me properly then? That's what I thought. But judging from the sound of Hagana's mood, I could sense her anger pretty clearly. Was I so wrong? I wanted to ask her. I guess Hagana might just be more of a princess type after all. I shrugged my shoulders as I sipped my coffee, and I head back to the table as I thought about taking the sandwich back to her room to eat. It was at that moment that I was aware of Lisa's computer, which sat in a random spot on top of the sink. The pinhole camera, the kind you use for video calls, was powered on and pointing directly at the table. She would go that far. In my mind, I was disgusted by this, but I honestly had to tip my hat to her for going to that length. Besides, I took a deep breath and thought about it. That we were all living together in one roof, and how long I'd have to stay here did depress me. In such a confined space, whether it was the toilet or the bath, chances are I'd run into her rather often. It was annoying to think there would be an awkward silence between us each time. I didn't think I'd done anything wrong. Hagana was wrong, if anything. Nevertheless, I was determined that this was where I should show my sincerity as a man. Coffee cup in hand, I returned to the table. I figured sitting directly diagonally from Hagana's chair would be the farthest point from her. The sandwiches were placed carefully on a plate in the center of the table. I took one of them and started chewing on it. It appeared to be handmade by Lisa, at least. The ingredients were certainly very grown up. There was tuna with leafy greens and peas, and there was lean meat in between. It seemed that she took into consideration by mentioning how strong the flavor was, and the mostly mustard flavor was kept to a more reasonable amount. While Hagana's small mouth was halfway done eating her sandwich, I had already devoured my first. I licked my fingers and took a sip of coffee before reaching for a second. It was then that I spoke to Hagana. You're fine without anything to drink? I thought I'd chosen something harmless to say, but Hagana did not look up at all. Want me to make you some coffee? I spoke out to her again, but I didn't even get the slightest reaction out of Hagana. Her disregard for me was almost refreshing in a way. Despite my attempts to meet her halfway and compromise, it didn't appear that she wanted to concede anything. While I wondered why I couldn't get out of this gridlock, I decided that since I'd already tried to reach out to her, I might as well try again. Hey. I changed the tone of my voice slightly, which caused Hagana to react. Though she was ignoring me, it wasn't as if her ears were closed too. Hagana stopped eating, and I took that time to speak. I heard from Lisa in regards to what happened yesterday. Hagana did not respond when she looked up. It was your way of thanking me, right? Hagana did not reply as expected. However, she did go back to eating her sandwich. On top of that, she was eating more quickly than before. How should I say this? I didn't know about that, and I spoke without thinking. I mean, it wasn't that I wasn't thankful for bringing the price down, but well, it isn't that. I then wondered how I ended up rambling like this, and I was fishing for words to break the deadlock. And at that moment, shut up. Hagana replied with a simple phrase. I was completely taken aback, and I stared at Hagana. Hagana stared at the table as if something bad about her was written in it. And then, after a short period of time, she started eating her sandwich again. And this time, she was going even faster than before. It was clear that she was angry. No, wait a sec. While I was left dumbfounded, it was as if I felt some sort of major premonition. I'd lose my cool in the next few moments, I thought to myself, as if it were some sort of weather forecast. If nothing else, Hagana's actions were uncalled for. I don't get it. I said shut up. Wham. I could feel the hairs on my temples stand on end. Why do you say that anyway? You were the one who kicked me without reason, and I'm already in a worse position, so what is with that? Hagana did not look up. Surprisingly, the hand that held up her sandwich stopped moving. I took a deep breath to hold back the impulse to toss the coffee cup in my hand. But the anger in me did not abate. I glared at Hagana and spoke. And back on that subject, it was you who was wrong for all that unreasonable haggling. According to what Lisa said, it was the result of Hagana being a bit too enthusiastic Then she looked at me with anger and disdain and spoke. You don't even work. On hearing those words for a brief moment, I forgot about my anger and just replied with a question. Huh? Did you steal money from your mommy before you ran away from home? Is that why you put on airs about having money? The malice in Hagana's words was way too clear. But those words were so unexpected that I couldn't stay angry. You don't work, and you're on the computer every day, and who are you pretending to be paying off that interest? I was dumbfounded as I looked back at Hagana. I was not working. We are doing all that we can to survive. We are different from someone like you who was born on the moon. That was the one thing I didn't want to hear from someone who came from Earth. Hagana fired off those words one after another. Lisa is way too nice. I don't know why she would protect a punk like you. And then, even though it looked like she still had something to say, it seemed like she was so overcome with emotion that the words didn't come out. Hagana looked pained as she knitted her brow, then suddenly turned away and left the table. Wait. I called out to her reflexively, but Hagana did not turn back. Just like the time in the clothing store, Hagana did not look back at all and left the living room. Before long, I could hear the door to her room close. Once again, I was left there dumbfounded. But at least it wasn't like the time in the clothing store, when I had no idea what was going on. I remembered the look in Hagana's eyes when she said that I didn't work. That was the look that stuck out in my mind when I first came here. That was the source of Hagana's crabby attitude, it seemed. What was going on in her mind was that she came to the moon because she was bought, and that she was also financially burdened. The place she fled was that she also financially burdened the place she fled to after running away from home. On top of that, even with her mathematical ability, which she used to teach children, she's probably dismayed that she couldn't help solve their fundamental problems. And that same Hagana, who saw me on the computer every day in the church, probably saw me as a punk kid who just played around all day after running away from home. I probably looked like an example of a lunar-born, lunar-raised idiot whose mind had gone slack from the low gravity. Knowing that now, how Hagana was acting didn't seem all that unreasonable. I wasn't really angry about anything at that point. That didn't quite settle the problem, though. For example, should I go to her room and knock on her door in order to tell her that it was all just a misunderstanding? The fact that I was making a huge profit on the stock market and not actually playing around on the computer. Should I say that she shouldn't misunderstand me? And after I said that, Hagana would open her door, show understanding, and apologize. Of course, I didn't imagine that would be the case. I just figured it was impossible given Hagana's stance. With everything, it was a matter of timing. You couldn't undo what was already done. I've learned that many a time from trading stocks. I scratched my head and sighed. I realized that it didn't really matter whether Hagana liked or hated me, but it wasn't really a good feeling for her to have animosity towards me due to a misunderstanding. To say nothing of Hagana's supposed mathematical genius, which I couldn't use in this case, if that genius could be utilized, it would be a happy outcome for both myself and Hagana. However, until this misunderstanding was resolved, it would be difficult to get her assistance. I leaned back as my whole body felt exhausted from this, and then I turned towards the computer on top of the sink. I couldn't imagine that she was spying on all this from somewhere, but it's possible that she just left the power on and that nothing was being recorded. Thinking about Lisa's personality, it would be fitting for her to make such a mischievous threat. Even so, I looked at the camera and bit my lower lip. What should I do now? Naturally, there was no response from the computer. I sighed once more and looked up at the ceiling. Due to what happened with Hagana, and also not being able to find a good investment technique, I stared blankly at the trade on the investment contest virtual market. I wasn't really trading. While looking at the movement of stocks, I was checking out what would happen if I bought a certain stock here or there. The result was a feeling that it could both go well and not go well. However, I knew the cause of all of this. It was definitely Hagana. However, it wasn't about whether Hagana hated me or misunderstood me. What Hagana said started to stab at me bit by bit. We are doing all that we can to survive. We are different from someone like you who was born on the moon. people from the town I lived in came from troubled parts of the earth. For someone like me born on the moon, I had yet to know how terrible the moon could be. However, the people who came from Earth knew enough about its ills, and also those of the moon. Even those words thrust me like that, there was nothing I could say in response. Nothing in response to being called a spoiled brat with his head in the clouds. Well, it was true that I left home because of a dream even I thought ridiculous. Furthermore, train had not gone too well, and I felt I was at a standstill, lost. However, that didn't mean that I wasn't trying my best in life. Realizing that I was making such excuses, I noticed that apparently I felt morally inferior to Earth folks, even more so than I had imagined. There were folks with dirt on their feet who worked hard to get to the moon. They abandoned their hometowns and came to a new frontier. Otherwise, they would have been dragged along by the unreasonable systems in place in the world. When I came to understand the harshness of reality, I hadn't really had the same experience as Hagana had. I wasn't an adult like Lisa either. Even though I had managed to earn 70,000 wools, it wasn't like any hard-working person couldn't save that up, and it certainly wasn't enough to live on for the rest of one's life. Rather, if my train hadn't gone well, I would have been a classic moon-bred loser with no education, no money, and no idea of the hardships of Earth. I suddenly lost confidence in what I'd been doing when Hagana told me these things straight to my face. Perhaps something was wrong with me, since I had pondered the simplistic plan of collaborating with a mathwist Hagana just because things hadn't been going well. If good things happened just like that, then no one in the world would suffer. Since my train had originally gone pretty well, perhaps I thought the world was a pretty easygoing place, and I was the only one who realized it. A pampered kid who knew nothing about the world. I then realized that, as unbearable as it was, I had to live with that moniker. I couldn't focus on trading the stocks in the investment contests, as it seemed that something was clouding my thoughts. I felt worry, hesitation, and anguish as I stretched out on the ground. And then my mind hit upon one thing, and that was when I was summoned to Lisa's room and the sensation I felt from her hug. Lisa was a kind and wise adult. But what happened if I sought advice from Lisa? Would she show me the right thing to say? I was just thinking about something this pitiful. I wondered where that brutish motivation had gone, the motivation I had right after I left home. Perhaps I was just naive about how society works. Perhaps I didn't have grandiose dreams to go where no one had gone before, and to be the only one to rise where no one had before and leave my footprint there. I kind of realized that I was all about ready to tear up. Even though I knew that thinking about it only made things worse, I could not stop. That is why, if I didn't hear a strange sound from afar just then, I might have drowned in the vortex of my own insecurity. I opened my eyes and looked towards the door, and after a brief moment I could hear that sound again. The ding-dong sound was akin to wood being struck. It was then that I realized someone was at the door. However, despite that fact, I decided to continue to lie down and sleep on the floor. Sound came a third time after a brief pause. Somehow or another, I had a sense that it was sounding more impatient. Speaking of visitors, Chris came by last time. It seemed that she was delivering things for the family business during the lunch break from school without stopping to eat. If it was Chris at the door, it would be a shame for her to waste her time. At that moment, the intercom chimed, and I stood up and headed out of the room, figuring that Hagana was not going to come out. The intercom chimed 4 times, and then a 5th time. If it was Chris, it was possible that she really needed to use the toilet. Thinking about that, I opened the door to the church after rubbing my eyes, just in case. At that instant, I felt it was plain good luck that I didn't instinctively send my fist flying out. Is Lisa in? The sound of the intercom chiming a 5th time almost sounded resentful in the long wait as I came upon the gloomy face at the door. It was Toyama, the money lender. However, the intensity of that gloominess was lost, most likely due to his obvious fatigue. What do you want? Lisa is in today, right? Toyama didn't respond to my question, so I asked his once more. I got annoyed instantly, but I did realize that it was probably just a mere outburst of anger. She ain't in. She isn't in? She said something about going to the university and took off. Helping out with a lecture then. Toyama understood at once and nodded. helping with classes at the university, then she should be returning soon. Do you mind if I waited for her? As he said that, he tried to slip past me and head to the church, but I grabbed his shoulder reflexively. The difference in strength was clear. I thought that Toyama would recoil from this, but he just turned, looked at me, and spoke in a seemingly sad tone. It's important. Before I knew it, I had let go of Toyama's shoulder. There was an unknown intensity, one a child might not have perceived, maybe, but it was definitely there. Most appreciated. On top of that, he bowed his head lightly. I said nothing else and just mumbled to myself. May I come in? After hearing the circumstances, I could only let him through. But... Hagana is in an unbelievably bad mood. I said that with complete seriousness, to which Toyama smiled wearily. For a brief moment his shoulders swayed as he smiled silently and coughed as he sighed. I will be careful. However, kid, you know how things are supposed to work in this world, right? Perhaps he wanted me to protect him if Hagana started calling him names again. I felt it was only fair. But I'd be so happy if I got acknowledged for that. It was just like Lisa said. I hid my embarrassment and turned away. You may come in. Pardon my intrusion. I let Toyama inside the church and closed the door. Toyama removed his hat and bowed his head a bit in front of a crucified bearded man located straight across from the entrance. Was the matter so important that he had to pray to God? I thought about that as I led Toyama in. I brought the old guy some coffee and intended to seclude myself in my room. But I realized that was not the right thing to do, so as a compromise I brought my little computer out to the living room. Toyama sat on the sofa by the coffee table while I sat at the dining table, which still had a couple sandwiches left on the plate, and I tapped away at my computer. Even though I couldn't really concentrate, I could take a look at what kind of stocks were in this virtual market. In any case, while glancing at the popular stocks, I started developing a hunch that these stocks were not fully fictitious, and were actually based on real stocks, in line with rumors circulating on the net. Are you playing some sort of game? Toyama asked me as he poked his nose in on what I was doing. Something like that. I see. He sipped his coffee and appeared uninterested as he looked from afar. He spoke again while in that state. Is it interesting? Don't ask me such strange questions, I thought to myself as I looked up. I guess. I see. What? Oh, nothing. I just thought it was nice, that it was interesting. I shrugged my shoulders and returned to the screen. Your days must be difficult. At my words, he craned his neck towards me. However, instead of getting angry, he laughed hoarsely. It isn't so bad, but I guess it's because of this face. People often think that way because of it. He rubbed his chin as he answered, and I did something rather unexpected in response. I looked right back at him, wondering if he could really joke around like that. You have a pretty good-looking face, though, and it'll probably do you some good in the future. His words of praise were to the point. My chin was lowered as I looked at Toyama, who just laughed quietly. You might have thought that I was joking, but I know a thing or two about this. It's not like I'd say you were a pretty boy, but what I said was my first impression. When I gave him trying to figure out whether he was praising me or not, Toyama gave a low laugh. To put it simply, it's a matter of who is capable and who is incapable. This is one of the few things I learned through money lending. With that said, where do you stand? Me? I am, well, you can throw me in with a lot of those who are not so capable. He rubbed his chin again as he spoke. Though he wasn't fat, his skin was saggy and his eyes showed fatigue. When he laughed, I could see some irregular teeth that made me think of a zombie out of a horror flick. Well, stubbornness is a selling point. Most of the time it wouldn't go well, but no matter where, one could find a place to get by. Well, I guess they are a little nice. I see. I ended up laughing dryly at how apt his self-description fit. At that point, Lisa's reliable even though she's young. That's something you're born with, not something you can train yourself to do. She's reliable. That was a good description of Lisa. About Hagana. He piqued my interest, so I tried asking him that. Toyama grimaced upon hearing Hagana's name, thinking back to what happened before, but he nodded in response and answered. As for that, is true. I can see that she is clever, but that is about it. Hiding in a shell within oneself. It's like a young bird who hasn't hatched from its egg. What does that mean? You don't get it, do you? After coming to the moon to lend out money, occasionally you run into people like that. In those cases, well, there are many here from Earth who have talent that can be bought. My face froze for a bit, but Toyama just happened to reach out to his cup while to sip some more coffee. I told myself he couldn't have seen my expression. Money lending is less about the exchange of money and more the exchange of trust, understand? If asked if I understood, it would be annoying to say that I didn't. But I didn't really understand, so I shook my head annoyed. Promising. When dealing with someone like me, to be able to precisely answer that you don't understand when you don't is certainly an asset. I was not happy with him, of all people, praising me. That's what I wanted to say, but being complimented did feel nice, at least. Anyhow, I've been in this line of work ever since I graduated from college back on Earth. For 20 years I've been determining whether or not to loan out money to people. What I learned was that the financial standing of lending was one thing, but the real important matter was their character. Even if someone doesn't have any money, if he's a good person, he will without a doubt return it. On the other hand, if someone doesn't have a bad disposition, then no matter the amount of money, they will not pay it back at all. But there's another type of person that you shouldn't loan money to, and that would be people like that girl. Toyama once again sipped on his coffee. For someone loaning money in a less fortunate, rundown area like this, there was some level of emphasis in his words. Toyama was strangely persuasive, as if he'd learned how to be from some unfortunate event in his own life. How do you say it? She's tenuous, I guess. Tenuous? Exactly. She's not completely removed from reality, but I get the feeling that she isn't firmly planted in it. Up to a certain point, she's just like other people. She would grit her teeth like normal people, be happy like normal people, and get angry like normal people. But once that point is surpassed, there is only resignation. And because of that, she wouldn't even mind dying. Perhaps she doesn't feel like she has any value. I don't think she really thinks of herself as something precious. Toyama stopped talking and a distant look came into his eyes. Perhaps his eyes were reflecting on a life that wasn't so straightforward. If one doesn't even believe in one's own importance, then there's no way one would value the money of others. Things that won't be paid back, and that is that. Do not think about what others think. You don't pay heed to how you are. No matter what happens, everything is viewed through a cynical lens. Lending money to people like that is not possible, no matter how talented they are. You've loaned out money to such people before? Yes, I have. While on Earth, I was a banker. In order to start business, many people came to me. There were people like that, people more pathetic than myself who'd hidden a earnest mindset in their hearts. But they appeared to be excellent candidates. A large amount of money was loaned out. At first all went well. But at some point or another they stumbled, and I looked on wondering if they were fine with that. For myself, this is a business where I must have faith in the lendee to lend them money. For the person I can trust and loan money to, if a simple failure makes them shrug their shoulders, throw everything away, and then proceed to simply be tired of life and hang themselves, well, I would be equally disappointed. I didn't like this kind of talk. Toyama, who was doing that kind of talking, didn't seem to enjoy it either. That girl gives off this mentality. But she is still young, and it is fortunate that she crossed paths with someone like Lisa. Very lucky. If one's luck is good, then one can break out of the egg. Doing so, they're able to chirp and warble. To be able to raise one's voice like that is one way to endure through life. In that regard, kid, you don't seem like one to be timid, and thus perhaps nothing troubles you either. Toyama seemed to be laughing mockingly at me, which was enough to anger me, but I no longer thought of him as a bad guy at the very least. An unfortunate person perhaps, but he didn't seem to be bad. Besides, she still has something to protect, so that girl is indeed lucky. When I came here to collect the interest, she was really quite hostile. That girl, she ran away from home, right? On hearing that suddenly, I couldn't hide my facial expression. Toyama looked at me calmly and shrugged his shoulders a bit. Lisa was the first person who stood up for me, I suppose. It was as if God, or perhaps Buddha, manifested themselves, I suppose. Hey, kid. What? Well, it's understandable for you to seethe with rage and to vilify me, but you must protect a girl like that. People like that aren't bad themselves. It's mostly just the environment they were brought up in. She came from an ashen-colored country where there were boundless crags and needle-sharp conifer tree forests. The winters were long, the summers were short, and the sky would sometimes open up into blue so brilliant you'd believe it was God's work. I couldn't imagine Hagana leading a happy life. Besides, until we went into that clothing store, I felt Hagana was close to me. Even Hagana's strong-armed haggling was the result of her determination, according to Lisa. Nonetheless, I did not know about that, and I had rejected Hagana's sincerity. Furthermore, I ended up paying off the interest for Lisa, someone Hagana tried in vain to protect. Though she might have been grateful, to go any further would put Hagana in an awkward position. Even though she was angry at me, there was probably nothing she could do. Besides, she's a cute girl, is she not? Well, even her foul mouth and cuteness would be a match for my daughter. I couldn't tell if that last set of words were a joke or not. But those words made it worth it for me to hear him out, and I forced out some laughter through my nose. Well, it looks like I was talking a bit too long there. There isn't anyone who would take time to listen to me. Toyama laughed in embarrassment and drank his coffee. I thought his smile looked unreasonably cool, and I was about to say that there certainly were people who'd want to listen to him. But the sound of a door further down the hallway opening and closing prevented those words from coming out. Looks like Lisa's back. Toyama said that as he put down his coffee cup. Before long, Lisa was in the room, and she blinked in surprise as she noticed Toyama. Did I need to make a payment today? No, I just wanted to speak with you today. Do you have some time right now? As he stood up, Toyama hunched over, and he looked shorter compared to Lisa. Indeed, it looked like only a small matter. Since he'd said it, I could feel that he really did go out of his way in how he acted. Perhaps this was another manifestation of someone with feet planted firmly on the ground. I thought to myself and started seeing Toyama as a grown-up in my own way. In his own way. Oh no, I don't mind, but did Hal do something to offend you? Just as I was thinking about that, Lisa spoke up abruptly. Toyama turned and looked at me just as Lisa was, and he laughed quietly before turning back to Lisa. We had an entertaining conversation. Oh my. Lisa was actually surprised, but I was a bit hurt by her reaction. What exactly did she think I was, anyway? Well, okay, I understand. So you wanted to talk about the loan, then? No. I'm here to talk about how to grow lilies. At Toyama's joke, Lisa laughed and nodded disappointedly. For the letter and the lendy, it seemed that they were tied together as if by fate. In that case, although it's a bit cramped, please come to my room. If that is possible, then I would appreciate it. Toyama followed after Lisa. I watched them go, and suddenly Lisa stopped and turned towards me. Hal? What? Keep an eye on Hagana, okay? She'd put it that way, since there was no telling how Hagana would try to help if she found out Toyama was in Lisa's room discussing loan terms. However, given the exchange from earlier, I didn't know whether or not I'd be able to make any guarantees on my surveillance duties. Or that's what I wanted to say, but I realized I couldn't really say that, so I just nodded my head half-heartedly. Maybe I couldn't really do that, I'm not entirely sure. It's a bad word to be missing. It's possible that perhaps they did show some concern towards me. Before long, Lisa and Toyama ascended the stairs towards the second floor. With me left here, the living room became strangely quiet, so I returned to looking over stocks one by one. My eyes pored over the numbers, but nothing stuck in my head. There were many things I should have thought about, which prevented the limited capacity of my mind to take in any of it. Afterwards, the day became dark as the program changed to night, and it appeared that Toyama had left. Or so it seemed as Lisa came down the steps by herself. She might have gone through the door on the third floor to avoid running into Hagana. It appeared that it was a discussion that warranted sufficient preparation, and I could see it in Lisa's facial expression when she returned to the living room. was the first time I'd seen her with an expressionless look. She poured herself a cup of water and just looked at it. She seemed so serious that I couldn't say anything. I set down the cup in one go and sighed briefly. Oops. Okay, that was only one click. She wiped her mouth haphazardly. When she raised her downcast face up, she went back to the usual Lisa. Why don't I prepare dinner? But somehow those words sounded tense and tired. I wondered what Toyama's talk was all about. Somehow I think it was a trivial matter of any sort. But even then, Lisa's behavior was kind, as if she'd never crossed paths with Toyama ever. Lisa was an adult. I believe that firmly. Thus, without asking any other questions, I just nodded my head. Also, it appeared that this computer terminal on top of the sink really was a trick of Lisa's. I wasn't sure whether that was a good thing or not. What I did know was that when I saw Hagana again at dinner, she disregarded me even more than she did in the morning. Also, my feeling of guilt only increased. Investing had run itself into the ground like a rock. There were now many questions. How would these matters be resolved? I wondered as I lay in bed that night. So that was like the shortest day I've had this entire game. The next day was a day off. The actual markets were closed. The investment contest virtual markets were likewise closed. Apparently server maintenance and data aggregation were necessary, and thus I had nothing to do. As for actual trading, I pored over every bit of news in the morning that was of any value or effect. Occasionally when I looked at the news, it seemed as if something new was happening every day these days. But if you followed the news for at least a week, it was clear that this was not the case. Thus, with nothing better to do, I headed out in the afternoon. It was possible I'd have a run-in with the law if I loitered around here on a weekday afternoon, and that was enough to keep me shut in. But when I was living at home, I would often spend my days outdoors. If I didn't get out and do some exercise from time to time, I'd rot. Besides, I would most likely run into Hagana if I stayed in the church. As for Lisa, after Toyama came by, she unexpectedly had begun to meditate all the time. I packed the computer in my bag and slung it over my shoulder. After tying my shoelaces, I headed up to the third floor and headed out. Today was a clear day, and probably due to the days of rain that washed the atmosphere, I was able to see clearly for a fair distance. The laundry fluttered in the part of the third floor yard, while lilies bloomed in the corner. Their numbers diminished because I had pulled some out earlier. Though the landscape in front of me seemed so tranquil, I was bothered by the number of problems that had cropped up. When I thought about them, the vastness and closeness of space seemed right outside of the dome increased vague fear. When I thought about them, the vastness and closeness of space right outside of the dome increased vague fears in me. I felt completely alone out here. But the more I thought about it, the more I knew it couldn't be solved. I shook my head and took off, kicking off from roofs and walls. I hadn't decided on where to go. Instead, I decided on what to do. Kunko? Well, that's the sound of a lady selling piping hot steamed buns out front. She handed one with a pair of tongs to a customer and responded. I don't know whether or not they have a storefront or not. Ah, the delivery company, I believe. What did you need with them? I see. Do you know where I should go to meet with them? I had 4 meals for one. The minced vegetable and meat bun was a good size and tasty. I've been wanting a little lunch. I asked the lady at the shop about Bruce's whereabouts. Just a minute. Let's see now. Since today is Sunday, if you're looking for Chris, she's out on the 3rd floor block doing a delivery. The answer came for a customer passing by who heard my quick question. 3rd block? Yep. Over by the tunnel that connects to the 5th outer section. On off days, she's usually over there lazing about. There, huh? It was a favorite spot of mine. The old man who gave me the information proceeded to purchase 5 steam buns. The old lady quickly restocked the steamer with fresh buns. Thanks, I'll be off now. Sure. Old lady, give me a few of the big ones, will you? I heard the old man joke as I turned around, stuffed the bun in my mouth, and prepared to run off. I was stopped by the old lady and handed the buns to the old man. Wait a moment. In films I'd seen, there'd always be someone playing the thief who would say something like, what kind of idiot would stop when told to stop? Since I left home and got used to being chased, those words had a strong impact on me. That was why I hesitated for a moment, switching to a stance where I could run away at a moment's notice and turn around. When I did that, the old lady took her tongs and placed a bun in front of me. She wanted to be with Chris, but please hand this to her. That girl, she's a bit too skinny if you ask me. The words of the old lady, whose face was round like pristine buns, was enough to persuade me. I nodded obediently and took the paper-wrapped, piping hot bun. I will be sure to give it to her. Kind on you. She didn't even ask for money, so there's no reason for me to be suspicious. At the side of the shop was a stray cat nipping in the glow of the sun, napping in the glow of the sun. I certainly didn't dislike this kind of atmosphere on the outside. The pompous denizens of the White Belt, though they lived in a nice area, were certainly not this open. Everyone was suspicious of each other, and the mood showed it. Naturally, the residents of the White Belt who make up the middle and upper-class society were always in constant competition with each other in the city, so that was probably to be expected. But if I could become just as dull as them by getting wrapped up in this competition, then I'd better exercise caution. As I thought about that, I ran towards the third block as I mentioned to me earlier. On the lunar surface, the temperature and humidity level were fairly consistent year-round. I heard it was most similar to spring on Earth. The temperature and weather made for a glorious day, I felt. Enough to make you perspire while exercising after eating a meal. After holding myself up in my room for a week, I was ready for some release as I leapt, hopped, and navigated the extreme highs and lows of this town. One reason I enjoyed exercise, outside of the fact that I learned how useful it was to condition my body, was that I put away distracting thoughts when in motion as I pushed forward. To be able to fly through the air through this town on a nice afternoon was a great and indescribable feeling. I leapt from rooftop to rooftop, and soon I was at a cliff, in the third block connecting to the fifth outer section. The only way up was a rough path that ran around the edge, but I had no intention of going that way, so I ran like a cat up the side of the wall. Due to low gravity, there were traffic signs by the cliffs for the sake of others who do the same thing. I used the sign as a stepping stone to take one more flying leap. Just at that moment, an old lady on an electronic scooter came out of the tunnel from the direction of the fifth outer section, and seeing me jump up from the bottom of the cliff did startle her a bit. As for me, I thought nothing of it, and once I reached the road, I looked towards the sixth outer section. They said that she was in this area making a delivery, but I couldn't see her from up here. Just as I thought about that while I stared out in the distance, I heard a voice above and behind me. Ah. I turned around towards that familiar voice, and sitting on top of the tunnel was Chris. Next to her was a large bag, and in her hands was that beat-up terminal of hers she'd carry around. Thinking that I was pretty lucky to find her this quickly, I grabbed the bun the old lady gave me and chucked it at Chris without saying a word. What? It's from the old lady at the steam bun shop. Told you to eat up. I see. While Chris looked at the wrapped-up package in confusion, she swallowed the saliva in her mouth. Just as I always did, I leapt towards the tree on the side of the road, and using that as a foothold, I did a three-point jump and leapt to the top of the tunnel. Chris peeled away the paper timidly and didn't seem at all surprised as I leapt up to her. Perhaps Chris also moved like I did when she made her deliveries. What are you doing here? I asked my question just as Chris put into the bun. Due to the timing, Chris became flustered, with a large chunk of bun in her mouth. Sorry, no need to be in a panic. Chris nodded dutifully, and after much for a bit, she gulped with satisfaction. So what are you doing here? I asked her once more, and Chris poured something out of her canteen into a cup before answering. I'm studying. But isn't it Sunday? Yes. I was just intending to make small talk, but somehow Chris took that to mean that she was somehow in the wrong and looked downcast. I was a bit surprised as I continued. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, I think. You're studying math, right? Yes. That's pretty cool. Huh? When it comes to studying, I always felt it was something you did in a darkened room just grinding away. But to study out here in a relaxed manner is, well, pretty cool. That was not entirely a lie. He said once told me about a great artist or something who would seek out places to isolate themselves in order to think through an important problem. But what I saw in front of me was entirely different from what I imagined. There was a large bag next to her, which made it seem as if she was taking a break on her way to do a delivery. It looked like she was using it as a cushion, and in her hand was a canteen. I had well taken occasional sips from the steaming, warm-looking tea in her cup. She seemed to be in deep saw a good opening at that moment to break the ice. Hey, there's something I want to ask you. Her obedient reply contrasted sharply with the fact that she was talking with her mouth full. Her lips had some minced meat on them, and she wiped her mouth hurriedly when I pointed out. You're friendly with Hagana, right? Our family's cat, even when examined by the man's observation, even when they were but it was probably just a stray that survived hitching a ride to the moon despite decompression and low temperatures. But he splashed water in his face and looked like she was looking at me now. Our cat leaned at me angrily when it came to its senses. Chris looked at me with upturned eyes, seemingly asking me if I was angry at her. So there's something I wanted to ask. Since I've been staying while Chris has been sitting, I was physically looking down at her, and I averted my eyes for the first time. I realized this was kind of pitiful. I guess I really was feeling awkward asking a question like that. Do you happen to know what Hagana likes? I tried to figure out the quickest way to resolve the unfathomable situation he eaten away at me, and this was my solution. She started to talk, but apparently she then realized that there was still some of that bun in her mouth. She closed her eyes in confusion before chewing and swallowing the rest of it, and sighed for relief before rephrasing what she was going to say. You're talking about Miss Hagana? Yeah. You look like you come to the church often, so do you know anything? Chris looked dumbfounded as she looked up at me, looking at me with innocent eyes as though wondering what I was trying to say. I was still feeling awkward and did look back at Chris. So in her Chris-like way, she must have thought that she had some strange misunderstanding of the situation as her cheeks suddenly turned red and she clasped her hands together. For Miss Hagana. Don't get the wrong idea here. I brought my face closer in a threatening manner. Chris closed her eyes quickly and brought her hands up over her head in defense as she curled up. Of course, I wasn't going to hit her. I set her up, and she opened one eye and looked at me cautiously. All because of a simple mistake, I did something bad to Hagana. Something bad? A lot happened. I had a sour expression as I said it, which caused Chris to avert her eyes so when she spoke timidly. So, it's something to give her a way of an apology, right? This listened, yes. As Chris said it, her expression changed. She had a distant look on her face as she was thinking about something, but perhaps because she usually came back to think about math problems, it was more extreme. Just a quick glimpse at her made it hard to tell if she was a guy or a girl. In an air like that, though, I somehow had the feeling that someday she proved to be a very beautiful woman. The sound was small, but there was a single passenger electric bike left the top. That was when Chris looked at me and spoke. You're a good person, aren't you? My response might have been unintentionally strong. Chris fell back suddenly and I could hear her start to giggle and laugh. It doesn't matter whether I'm a good guy or a bad guy, so do you have any ideas or not? Yes, things Miss Hagana likes, right? She said this obediently with some hesitation. Something this annoying was definitely a very girlish trait. I must definitely be bad when it comes to girlies. I read the situation I hate how I felt like a kid when there was a girl right in front of me. She doesn't really say much about this sort of stuff. Anything works. Anything that she might have an interest in, perhaps. Something she has an interest in? So she seemed to have a frank personality. Perhaps this kind of talk didn't happen often. But as I waited patiently as Chris pondered this matter, Chris looked up suddenly and said something. You thought of something? No? Well... What? In my question, Chris pointed towards the front of the road at the bottom of the tunnel and then spoke. There's Miss Hagana. I looked out for a minute. It did appear that Hagana was on the path heading our way. Thanks to the slip of the hill, it did not appear that she knew I was here. I was panicked and realized that things were bad when she saw me here. Keep quiet about me coming here. After I said that to Chris, I turned towards the cliffs behind me and leapt into a thicket of trees there. Chris followed me with her eyes as I looked, but before long she could hear Hagana calling out to her. She turned around in a panic. However, Hagana was about to ascend to the top of the tunnel, so Chris gathered up her things, headed down, and disappeared from sight. Hagana's timing was rather annoying, but it was just a matter of finding another opportunity to talk to Chris. It was also possible that she was sharper than I took her for, and I really tried to get Hagana to tell her about her interests. I held on to that because I could myself in the space between me and naturally planted giant trees. I couldn't stop wondering how Hagana had having a place by his own side. There's no way she would have come here looking for So perhaps Hagana began to talk to Chris. Perhaps it was about her studies. That's what I thought, but remember how Hagana looked as she walked down that path? I wondered if there was not something else on her mind. It's not that I wouldn't be able to eavesdrop on them if I tried, but there would be no way to talk my way out of it if I were to be discovered. So I meekly took a detour and headed back to the church. Lisa wasn't in the living room, so I guess she was in her room. I made some coffee, headed back to my room, and turned on the computer. In order to solve one problem, I made a single move. Thus, my next move for the next problem was to take a look at the stocks. However, the quiet of the church apparently was merely the calm before the storm, as they said back on Earth. Several hours later, from far away, I could hear the muffled sound of a telephone. Immediately afterwards, from the second floor, I could hear Lisa's hurried footsteps heading downstairs. It had been 3 hours since Lisa rushed out of the church. The day had already turned dark, and after having eaten only one steamed bun for lunch, I was definitely hungry now. The church had fallen silent, an indication that Lisa and Hagana had not returned yet. Lisa had undoubtedly left in a hurry because of Hagana. Did she perhaps get scolded by the police? But I felt there wasn't a reason to rush like that if it were simply the case. Besides, it was Lisa's hobby to shelter people like her, so I figured she would have been calmer about it. So if that were the case, then all I could think of were situations like Hagana's parents finding her, or her about to get caught needing help. And thus I was oddly worried, pacing back and forth in the living room, sneaking peeks through the curtains. The timing of the phone ringing in the quiet living room made me jump in surprise pathetically. I would have been more hesitant if Lisa's terminal had rung, but the ringing came from the phone on the wall, so I picked up after the fifth ring. Hello? Hal? I was relieved to hear Lisa's voice, but at the same time I realized she hadn't contacted me for several hours after leaving without a word, making annoyance well up in me. But before I could complain about it, Lisa continued talking. I'll be home soon, so can you start the bath for me? Huh? Make sure it's hot. Also, in the cupboard I've set aside some cocoa, so go ahead and make some. And make it as sweet as you can. Cocoa, bath, better yet, where are... Before I could finish, Lisa hung up. I looked at the telephone receiver I had just been talking into and fiercely put it back in place. Why did I have to take orders involving baths and cocoa without even an explanation? Well, fuming, I thought I would ignore her request, but in the end I reconsidered and started the water for the bath. After that, I followed Lisa's instructions. I rummaged through the cupboard to find a package that contained what appeared to be high-grade cocoa. I prepared it according to the recipe on the back. While milk was boiling in the saucepan, the delightful fragrance was enough to make me want some too, and I went to fetch an extra cup. I heard the sound of the door opening and closing from within the church. Muttering about her finally being back and sighing wearily, though I hadn't really done much of anything, I turned off the stove since the milk had started boiling. Well, the hot cocoa is almost done. Just as I took the saucepan in my hand and poured the milk into a cup, Hagana walked through the living room with great strides and dove into her room. That really wasn't an exaggeration, as the slamming of her door with all her might seemed to shake the church itself. Lisa froze in her tracks in the middle of the living room, looking like she was about to call out to Hagana to stop her. The always calm, sometimes dim-witted, but dependable older woman was nowhere to be seen. She was so tired she didn't even notice me looking at her, as her outstretched hand towards Hagana eventually faltered. And when she realized that I was looking at her, she let out a small laugh. Thinking that I might have seen something that I shouldn't have, I went back to pouring milk into the cup. Did you prepare it right? Lisa turned toward my back and said those words. Should you be talking about something else right now? That was what I thought to myself, but I couldn't outright criticize her. Probably. I see. I'm sure if I turned around I would see Lisa with a strained smile on her face. I didn't want to see Lisa like that, so I focused on pouring milk instead. Oh, are you making two? I almost spilled the milk when I heard that. Yeah, I suppose so. Could you hand me one cup? At those words I finally turned around, and I was startled. At first it was so dark I hadn't noticed it, but it was clear that the lower part of her right eye was swollen. What happened? Am My words, Lisa inspected her top and pants. The feeling of irritation as I looked at her overrode the feeling of how silly her actions were. Your face. Oh. As soon as Lisa realized it, she looked up and with her right hand touched her face with her slender fingers. Seeing how painful it looked made my face flinch in reaction. It was nothing. I just ran into something. It was nothing. I don't know about how that works on Earth, but on the moon that doesn't look like it was nothing. Even I knew about Newton's third law of motion. Lower gravity meant less weight, and less weight meant less impact. I knew from experience because I had traded many a blow. Lisa looked embarrassed and had a strange smile on her face as I saw through her ruse. She then looked towards me. Would you mind giving me some cocoa? Normally I'd be angry at her for dodging the question. However, I couldn't say any more with Lisa in front of me. At the very least, my face showed displeasure as I stirred the cup I poured milk into and placed it on the table. Thank you. Lisa smiled as she thanked me and took a seat at the table. After that, acting as if she had just returned from a trip into a freezer, she held the cup in her hands, blew on it several times, and then sipped lightly from it. It was at that point that I realized I'd forgotten to put sugar in, but it seemed that Lisa didn't mind at all. Or rather, it felt like she wasn't really sensing the taste at all. Her attention wasn't on what was in front of her, but somewhere else. I deliberately slammed the sugar jar on the table with a thud. Sugar. Oh, thank you. After saying that, she dropped a single sugar cube into her cup listlessly. And then, as if being satisfied with that single action, she didn't pick the cup back up. Well, I couldn't take it any longer and asked the question. Lisa's reaction was slow, and I thought she was just ignoring me at first, but she slowly looked up at me. What happened? As something of a freeloader, it's not like I had any direct connection to Hagana or Lisa. I felt that I had a right to ask. Do I have to talk about it? And then, like a child, Lisa responded to me, smiling slightly. Rather than getting angry, I was getting scared. Even then, I gathered up some strength within me and spoke. Well, I did make you this hot cocoa. I had a sour expression on my face when I spoke, and Lisa looked at the cup of cocoa in her hands before looking at me once more. I could see that her face looked somewhat relieved as she was blowing on the cocoa. That's true, you did make cocoa for me. I also prepared the bath. Well, I suppose at this point I can't just say nothing then. Lisa drank her cocoa and sighed. The silence was long, and I felt that if it were to drag on any longer, it'd be stifling enough to knock me over. Yesterday, Toyama came over, remember? Toyama, yeah. This was a continuation of that talk. After saying that, Lisa drank the cocoa once more. There weren't words of explanation, but even without my urging, I had faith that Lisa would explain everything. Yesterday's talk was, well, I suppose you could say, simply a demand with regards to the loan. Huh. I raised my voice unintentionally in response. But I just paid the interest. Yes, Toyama was grateful for that. That's why he was so polite, you know. Now that she mentioned it, it was true that Toyama wasn't really being coercive. He was actually being humble and apologetic. On top of that, he even offered up a prayer to the statue of the crucified man at the altar. Perhaps he was well aware that he'd come with an unreasonable request. The loan, you see, he asked for it to be paid back in full. My words stopped there as I did some number crunching in my head with regards to the financial situation of the church. The loan was at 50,000 mules with a monthly interest rate payment of 200 mules. However, I didn't even get back the 200 mules I had put up. Given that, there was no possibility of paying back the loan in full. Why do you have to? Is it written in the contract? No, the loan is indefinite. Toyama always does it like that. I can only loan money out to people I trust, so pay back whenever you can, he would say. Sounds like a nice deal, but interest was still being collected, hence the situation was the same. However, Toyama did have a financial backer. Financial backer? This person gave him the original funds that let him loan money out to people. And that financial backer appears to have passed away in the hospital. So that was the reason why Lisa needed to repay the entire amount. On the other hand, with his financial backer dead, wouldn't that be a good thing for Toyama? person who gave Toyama money was apparently someone he knew back on Earth, and had very uncertain conditions for borrowing, he said. And then when he died, a relative of his from Earth arrived and sold the loan document Toyama had to someone else. I see. It wasn't hard to understand that. Yes, I can't blame those people either, but it put Toyama in a difficult situation. Up until now, it was a sloppily written contract. Because he had known the man for such a long time, they had mockingly added some extra stipulations to the contract. Toyama actually never managed to make a profit. I totally had a hunch. An unsecured loan at 6% interest isn't feasible. Speaking of which, Hal, you did mention that before, didn't you? And because of that, they approached Toyama to pay all that money back, and that total amount is well over 800,000 moles, I think. That amount of money was enough to build a nice small house in the White Belt. If you were on Earth, whether it be dollars, yen, or marks, it was a princely sum of money, no matter how you looked at it. Naturally, there's no way Toyama could have all that much money. If there was someone in need who was also someone he thought he could trust, he would loan out a lot to them, even when his own family's funds were running low. Thus, all Toyama had in his possession were loan contracts. So the people who pursued Toyama to return the money said that if he wasn't able to pay the money back, then they would buy back the contracts at a discount. Really? If that's really how it is, that's not too bad. I thought that for a brief moment, but when Lisa looked at me, I realized that there was more to this. So in other words, the lender changes from Toyama to those other guys then. Yes. For us, the loan is indefinite, but as a precaution, the contract is reviewed every 3 years. Toyama said that if there are any issues found during that time, things will be bad. Bad? In other words, you'll have to sell everything off in order to pay it off. I don't really understand, but it sounds like the court can force a disposition. In that case, no matter what assets you have, they'd be sold in a fire sale, so even a loan of 50,000 moles could be difficult. So that is why he asked you to pay it all back now. Exactly. He said, instead of hurrying to sell at a loss, take the time to find someone who would be willing to buy the property at a high price. Toyama honestly meant well when he came by. If everything Toyama said could be believed, that is. I wasn't going to say it out loud, though. I honestly didn't think Toyama was a sneaky kind of guy. But of course, there were adults who possessed the down and dirty skills of deception. But if that were the case, I felt that Toyama would have presented himself in a much better light. But... And as Lisa punctuated the conversation, my mind stopped wandering. Hagana. That child is rather sharp, and yesterday it seemed that she caught wind that something was going on. And then it seemed as if she caught wind of this talk as well. In a fit of rage, did she confront Toyama then? I asked nervously as Lisa looked like she was slipping deeper into depression. She nodded. At that moment, the image of Hagana as she came to look for Chris above the tunnel crossed my mind. I went to Chris because I figured she'd know about Hagana, and Hagana probably went to Chris because she figured Chris would know about the neighborhood. Since Toyama lent money in this neighborhood, certainly she would have seen his tired appearance before. It was dreadful, honestly. It caused Toyama a lot of distress. Even in normal circumstances for a moneylender, even if they don't actually do anything bad, it's too easy to suspect that they are capable of doing something bad anyway. Without knowing the facts, Toyama looks like a bad guy, doesn't he? Even then, he's someone who's known in this area and has been able to continue his work without any major problems, but... And that injury. Oh, this? Lisa laughed weakly, and her gaze turned from the living room to farther down the corridor. And then, in a rather low voice, she spoke. Thanks to this, I was able to calm Hagana down from her anger. In other words, at that moment Hagana had either thrown or hit something, probably. I know that she did it all for me, but that was always the end result. That time with me in the clothing store was the same thing. She always seems to blame herself for what happens. If there's anything that she can do, no matter where it is, she will try to do something, I imagine. A difficult personality. Lisa did not disagree with my mumbling. She's a serious girl, stubbornly serious. Why can't she get reward for her toils, I wonder? Honestly, what was the Lord thinking? Lisa seemed to laugh in sorrow, then looked downcast before falling silent. But I couldn't stand the silence and spoke up quickly. Well, what are you going to do? The loan. Return what was given. That was expected. But if everything in the world went that well, I'd be living in a penthouse in Newton City by now. Yes. What should we do? As Lisa said that, she looked troubled as she smiled. If she really had no way to repay that money, then it might just blow my lid. I really think that she could do whatever she could in work. But Lisa actually had a means to pay it back. If she sold off things like those books, odds are she would be able to pay back the loan. But even then, Lisa thought about that before and was at a loss. Lisa cared for those books as if they were a part of her, and if she were to sell those books, she'd never see them again. Studying ancient Earth religions at a top-notch university on the moon, setting up a church, a relic from centuries past, sheltering runaways and those that have nowhere else to go, reading hundreds-year-old books from Earth about God on rainy days. Those were things she enjoyed doing. For someone so unsuited for the moon, Lisa was very mature. Besides, if I were to make a list of people I could rely on, I'm sure Lisa's name would be propelled to the top. Even so, that same Lisa gave a troubled smile. There was no doubt Hagana ran over to Toyama's place and lashed out insults at him. If not that, then perhaps she pressed the point of selling herself off. As it was Hagana we were talking about, either possibility was believable. Lisa wrapped her hands around her cup of cocoa I poured for her, tilted it slowly and sipped on it. Cocoa always tastes good. Somehow, those empty words were gut-wrenching to me. Did you prepare the bath as well? Just as you asked me to. Thank you. I guess this is the part where I'm supposed to tell you and Hagana over the phone to remember to eat and get along with each other. Huh. It wasn't a joke worth laughing at, so I just let out a snort of discontent. It didn't seem as if Lisa wanted to laugh either, and she put down the cup and stood up. Thank you very much. There's another cup left. Lisa paused for a moment and laughed slightly as she shrugged her shoulders. I don't want to get fat. Oh, I hope you won't mind if I use the bath first. No, that's fine by me. I'll be angry if you peep. Of course I won't. I reacted reflexively, and only then did Lisa laugh happily. Leaving behind that smile, she went towards the bathroom. It seemed that her manner of walking had a listless, forlorn manner to it. With a thud, the door closed, and I stared at it for no real reason. When I heard the door to the bath open and close, I averted my eyes from the door as if a surveillance camera was looking right at me. My eyes then turned towards the single cup left in the sink. It already started to cool down as a thin layer was floating on top of the milk. What was Lisa going to do after this? What was going to be done was already decided. Without a doubt, she was going to sell those books. The answer was decided from the beginning. All that was left was a question of when she'd commit to it. Since it was someone else's affair, I could say it like that. I was aware of this. That is why it was no surprise that Lisa was in the bathroom crying. I've heard from the ruffians in my hometown that the seaside, or even a bathroom, was a suitable place for an adult to cry. Was there a good resolution to all of this? Probably not, I suppose. If there was, then it would have been carried out already. Otherwise, there would be no reason to suffer a slow death, paying interest every month. Paying off the principal would eventually pay off the loan, but if one simply paid the interest, then the loan would never go away. Any grade schooler knew that. However, Lisa had trouble paying the interest, and I had to step in the end. Thus, she had no choice but to rely on the final option. Lisa had to sell a part of her. It was better than Hagana selling off her entire body. That was probably how she convinced Hagana, I'd imagine. Much like Earth, the moon was also a place where only the strongest survived. On the moon, they were able to take a place that didn't have any signs of life and forcibly build a city on the surface. So there really wasn't any allowance for doing anything half-hearted. Space was cold and dark. I wonder if Hagana was crying. Perhaps she was. She was probably blaming herself. If I were in their shoes, it would definitely be quite painful. Lisa was a good person, and that made it all the more painful. Toyama had said that Hagana didn't care about Lisa just because she'd given her shelter. I had a feeling about that as well. If it was concerning anyone else in the lunar city that was as lonely as Lisa, I wouldn't care as much. 50,000 moles. I mouthed that amount of money once more. 50,000 moles. While staring at the cooling cocoa in the sink, I wanted to curse God if he existed. 50,000 moles. How much money did I have?